The Newsday continues here on One News Now. I'm Riza Diaz. The OCTA research team notes a slight uptick in cases in Metro Manila over the past week. OCTA said that the average number of new daily cases in NCR from February 13 to 19 was at 430, an increase from the average 370 new cases per day in the preceding week. In an interview with One News Now yesterday, Professor Guido David of OCTA Research Group said that this is not a cause for too much alarm since cases normally fluctuate. Now, among the cities that recorded a significant increase in cases was Pasay City, which has been placed under the high-risk category. David said that the clustering of cases in some barangays in Pasay is concerning.
Pasay is concerning right now, but we want to wait maybe one more week. We want to monitor the numbers even further to verify if the trend will be sustained.
Now, some parts of Surigao del Sur are flooded due to heavy rains brought by Tropical Storm Auring. To give us the latest, we have Jem Avancenia reporting live from Surigao City. Jem, how's the situation there?
Riza, winds and rains are getting stronger here in Surigao City as Tropical Storm Auring is expected to make landfall over Caraga region tonight or tomorrow morning. Storm signal number 2 was raised over the Dinagat Islands and northern part of Surigao del Norte, including Surigao City, Siargao, and Bocas Grande Islands. Signal number 1 remains in other parts of Caraga region, Davao, and Region 10. Some areas in the province of Surigao del Sur are already flooded this morning due to consistent rains since last night. In a Facebook Live of resident Leia Caduyac, floodwaters in Purok Santan, Barangay Quezon already reached shoulder level. Caduyac also said that a nearby river has overflowed and with this they are preparing to evacuate. The Office of Civil Defense in Caraga said that the river is nearby Tandag City, which has contributed to the flooding in the barangay. Riza, the regional government of Caraga is expecting moderate to heavy rains throughout today. Thus, rescue units here in Surigao City are already on standby. Riza?
Thank you. That was Jem Avancenia reporting live from Surigao City. Meanwhile, COVID-19 cases among the members of the Philippine National Police is nearing 11,000. The PNP said that as of February 19, 426 of these are active COVID-19 cases. Meanwhile, total recoveries in the PNP stands at over 10,500. No new COVID-19 fatalities were recorded in the police force. Now, here are the top stories across the nation. Metro Manila mayors are ready to comply with the national government's decision on the proposed reopening of cinemas. Movie houses were set to reopen on February 15, but this was deferred to next month after the NCR mayors, or after most NCR mayors voiced their opposition. According to MMDA Public Services head Michael Salaliva, Metro Manila mayors are awaiting the re-implementing rules and regulations to be set forth by the IATF. He added that they are already mulling guidelines regarding capacity, food inside cinemas, and social distancing. MMDA Chairman Benher Abalos also maintained that while most mayors opposed this decision and even filed the motion for reconsideration on regarding the matter, they would, quote, support and respect the final decision of President Duterte. Employees in the government sector may soon have to pay more for their retirement benefits. GSIS officials expressed their support to a proposed hike in premium rates. According to GSIS Vice President for Legal Affairs, Lucio Yu Jr., increasing premium rates would be beneficial to its members, but clarified that such increase will only be, quote, last resort. This came after the decision to raise SSS and PhilHealth premium rates were deferred due to the pandemic. More lawmakers are now supporting the move to conduct a house inquiry into the recent police raid at a school in Cebu where Lumad students were dragged away by policemen. 4 congressmen signed the resolution filed by Makabayan Bloc seeking a congressional probe on the raid which police insist was a rescue operation. Makabayan Bloc and Deputy Minor Leader Bayan Muna Representative Carlos Zarate said the incident was, quote, an act of terror against the Lumads, while Deputy Speaker Mikey Romero expressed his support for the Lumad children, saying children should never be caught in the middle of any armed conflict, especially if it involves law enforcement agents. We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Riza Diaz. With the discovery of new COVID mutations, Cebu is calling on the media to be wary of how the situation is being reported. Meanwhile, health experts express concerns over the mutations but clarify that it is not yet a cause for alarm. Jenny Don with the rest of the story.
Recently, 2 mutations of SARS-CoV-2, the virus that causes COVID-19, were detected in Central Visayas. These mutations were found to share similarities with the UK and Brazil variants earlier reported. Cebu Governor Gwen Garcia is thus calling on the media to avoid using words that may incite unnecessary panic. In a virtual presser, Garcia said members of the press should be careful in using terms like Cebu variant when reporting. The regional office of DOH in Central Visayas earlier clarified that the mutations cannot yet be considered as variants of the virus. Governor Garcia also asked the public to avoid sharing unverified information on social media. She also expressed disappointment with the lockdown recommendations by 3 doctors, calling it discriminative to Cebuanos.
Excuse me, we're taking good care of ourselves. Thank you. Kamaomi. We're managing. Thank you. In fairness to Secretary Duque, iyang gi-override ang recommendations aning tulo. And agreed because our Dibernadas and particularly Dr. Loreche were both fighting for Cebu.
On the other hand, the UP OCTA research team is still cautioning against the possibility that new variants may be spreading in Metro Manila and the rest of the country.
What we are more concerned about is the possibility that the variant, whether it's the UK variant or variant of concern that they have identified in Cebu, whether that is here and it is spreading. So that is a possibility. And if that takes hold, if that kind of variant takes hold in Metro Manila, we could have difficulties mitigating the spread of the virus.
But ultimately, the group says it is not yet time to raise the alarm, as it is still too early to tell if these mutations would have serious clinical repercussions. He explained that the general trend in Metro Manila has been flat since October last year, although some fluctuations occurred.
We did notice 3 cities in Metro Manila where the numbers increased significantly. Although it's too early to tell right now if this is a serious a serious trend, or if it's just a byproduct of the recent Valentine's Day and Chinese New Year.
For News 5, Jenny Dongon, We Are One News.
Now here are the biggest stories we're watching around the globe. Britain is urging rich countries to donate COVID-19 vaccines to poorer and war-torn states. Britain submitted a resolution to 14 members of the UN Security Council calling for vaccine donations from developed countries to low and middle income countries. The resolution emphasized the need for solidarity and equity during these trying times. Russia has approved its third COVID-19 vaccine for domestic use. The Covivac shot is made of a coronavirus that has been inactivated or stripped of its ability to replicate. Like other vaccines, it is given in 2 doses, 14 days apart, and can be transported and stored at the normal fridge temperature of 2 to 8 degrees Celsius. And COVID vaccine doses administered globally passed 200 million yesterday. This after the group of 7 or G7 countries pledged more than double aid to support less well-off countries. G7 says their COVID aid now amount to $7.5 billion. Meanwhile, over in Europe, Spain is watching its biggest YouTube stars relocate to a tiny country, which is now dubbed as the Silicon Valley for YouTubers. But why is the great influencer exodus causing growing indignation in Spain? Let's find out from this report by
Es como el
Bloomberg.
Silicon Valley de los YouTubers, por así decirlo, porque aquí están todos.
Andorra, a tiny isolated nation in the Pyrenees, is turning into a creative hub for some of Spain's biggest social media stars. The country of only 11,000 is best known as a haven for wealthy bankers, sports stars, and tax-free shopping. But the recent influx of YouTubers is giving a boost to its economy, threatened by depopulation and the impact of climate change on its skiing industry.
Tomar decisiones.
Victor Dominguez, who runs the Wall Street Wolverine channel, said he moved to Andorra last year because of the pandemic.
Y es muy fácil hacer colaboraciones y al final todos estamos para crecer. Entonces tienes a lo mejor otro youtuber a 5 minutos de casa y puedes hacer contenido muy fácilmente. El Rubius al final es como la referencia, el más grande de todos.
When star online gamer Al Rubis told his 39 million followers last month he was off to Andorra, it sparked indignation in national media, which portrayed it as a cynical and unpatriotic move to avoid tax.
Soy empático con él y yo sí que considero que yo sí me fui por motivos económicos, pero en el caso de Rubius son 10 años tributando en España y es una persona que no tiene nada realmente en España. Su familia no está en España, sus amigos están en Andorra. Evidentemente también hay una motivación económica detrás seguramente, pero creo que ese ha sido un poco injusto con él, en el sentido de no creo que la principal motivación sea económica.
Al Rubis didn't answer a Bloomberg email seeking comment. Spain has a 54% top income tax rate, while Andorra has a maximum 10% income tax rate.
What do you say to people that consider Andorra a tax heaven?
I think that those people are not just mistaken, but they don't have the correct information, because Andorra is a fully homologated country with the OECD provisions from the beginning of the last decade. Andorra has been removed from the grey list of the European Union from the end of 2018.
We are offering to those professionals an attractive framework in terms of tax income, but it is not only this question. The main thing that they take in account in order to come to the country. We are the third main country in terms of connectivity.
Antes la gente era más reticente de venir porque decían, joder, es que no hay nadie, ¿con quién voy a estar? Ahora la pregunta es, ¿qué youtuber grande en España no está aquí? Muy pocos, muy pocos.
And those are the top stories of the hour. Join us later at 12 noon as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News on Signal Play app. Register for a free account now at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Riza Diaz. We are One News.